Supermassive from 2023. So Supermassive of this year. I'm putting out the year because there was already another Supermassive that came out last year. And this isn't like Supermassive number 2 or Supermassive with a subtitle. This is just Supermassive. So Supermassive, the 2023 version from Image Comics. And as you can guess, it's a crossover between the MassiveVerse. So it's a crossover with Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, Radiant Black. And for the longest time, I was like, where's Infernal Girl Red? She's actually here. Not the character that we know, but the power is here. And there's also a crazy crossover that I was not expecting. I'm guessing you can tell by the title what it means. But yeah, because of this crossover event, I'm sure it's probably not going to play a part in any of the other series. But we can say that the MassiveVerse and the Spawnverse share the same universe. Yeah. I'll get into that later on. But we jump into this issue where in England in 1412, where this woman named Thomason, weird name for a woman, but whatever. She's killing Caleb. She is killing Rogue Sun. And basically they're trying to seek like this power source, this like item. It turns out to be the Grail, the Holy Grail. She wants to use this power for a reason. We find out later why, and I'll get into that later on. But Caleb is trying to stop her, and she's forced to kill him. And then we cut to the present day, where we have Caleb, who anyone who's read the last Rogue Sun or just watched the last video I did on Rogue Sun, he's taken over Dylan's body. Dylan basically swapped out with him because Dylan couldn't handle the fact that the kid that he bullied died. So he swapped out with him and had Caleb do all the superhero stuff. I went on a huge rant about that in the last Rogue Sun video. And after the fight was over, Caleb decided, hey, I'm not going to give you back your body because you suck. You're absolutely terrible as Rogue Sun. You're not doing what a hero should be doing. So I'm going to use your powers instead because I'm actually going to do good, unlike you. And so he takes the hijacked body into this museum where he steals this item. And it's the item that Thomason had in the flashback that will take them to where the Holy Grail is. And we cut to Nathan and Marshall, and this takes place immediately after that Radiant Black series issue, the last one, where the two of them realize that only one of us can be Radiant Black. But right now, they're not like deciding who's going to become Radiant Black. Instead, they're trying to see if there's still ways that they can just swap the powers between the two of them. Like, we don't have to make a decision right now, is what they're getting at. And I guess this answers one question I had, which was, when does the MassiveVerse take place? Like, one thing I always found kind of confusing was the fact that Dead Lucky has like a cyberpunk theme, but there's no cyberpunk theme in any of the other MassiveVerse series. So I'm like, does Dead Lucky take place technically in the future or in the near future? No, it takes place during the same timeline as Radiant Black and Rogue Sun. So for some reason, San Francisco has high-tech cyberpunk technology and nowhere else in the world does. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because as someone who lives in California, our electric grid is absolute dog shit. We are one of the few states that still has rolling blackouts. Which is funny, because now they're trying to pass a bill that will ban the production of gas-powered cars. So basically, every car after 2035 has to be an electric car. And it's like, how are you going to do that when we can't even... Like, our electric grid is absolute shit. How are we going to survive on electric cars when we still have rolling blackouts? I'm kind of just rambling on that, but I just find it funny that San Francisco, of all places, is the place that has high-tech sci-fi equipment going 24/7 when, our power grid is absolute dog shit. Yeah, so Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, and Radiant Black are within the same timeline. Like they happen concurrently with each other, which also begs the question: why don't they ever help each other out outside of these massive verse team ups? So yeah, they're trying to like use the powers back and forth, trying to see if they don't need to just choose one person to become the Radiant Black. I'm hoping it's Marshall. Nathan absolutely sucks. I hate him as a character. I hate him as Radiant Black. And this issue actually even proves that Marshall deserves it more. Nathan is just a Debbie Downer. He's constantly complaining, like, oh, this isn't going to work. We can't do this. Meanwhile, Marshall's like cheerleading him on. It's like, come on, you can do it. And when Nathan is able to activate the power, Marshall gets like super excited and it's like, great job. Like, see, I told you, dude. Like, if it's harder to transform, then we just got to work harder. So yeah, Marshall's like the optimistic one. He's also just the better hero in my opinion. But Rogue's son shows up, and Marshall is like, "Oh, hey, Marcus, how's it going?" And that's when he's told like, Marcus is dead. Yeah, the guy you teamed up with last time, he's no longer alive. I am his predecessor. And Marshall's like, "Oh, that sucks." And then they kind of just move on. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. Meanwhile, we cut to BB, where BB's working for Morrow, and Morrow gives her a mission. The mission is that Radiant Black and Rogue Sun are going after the Grail. How Morrow knows about that, I have no idea. It's never explained, but Morrow knows, and so they sent BB there. Like, we need you to go there and team up with them so you can get through the door and get to the Grail, and then bring the Grail back to us. The Grail will allow you, at least people believe that it has the power to bring back the dead. So you can use it to bring back Eddie and anyone else you want, just as long as if you give it to us after you're done. So basically, go collect the Grail, and then as you're delivering the Grail to us, if you want to use it to bring some people back, go for it. Just as long as if you give it to us, afterwards. So BB's like, all right, fine, I'll do that. And yeah, I'm gonna skip some pages. Eventually, the three of them meet up outside of like a CVS store. For anyone who doesn't know what a CVS store, kind of think pharmacy, but also they sell like food and some other stuff. So it's basically like food, sometimes a little bit of clothing, some kind of like appliances, as long as if it's like smaller stuff, and like a lot of medication. And they go inside, and Caleb uses the item that he stole from the museum to unlock the door, and they go inside, and they basically have to do a bunch of trials to get to the Grail. And like the first trial awakens these golems that look exactly like Al from Fullmetal Alchemist. Tell me, I mean, look at this. Is this or is this not Al from Fullmetal Alchemist? Who else could it be? It's straight up Al. So yeah, eventually they meet Thomason in one of the places, and she has just finished killing Caleb, but it's been thousands of years since. So like they both arrive at the same point in time, but they took different times to get there, if that makes any sense. So Thomason just kills Caleb, walks through the doorway. She's in this world, and then she sees Caleb and BB and Marshall and Nathan. For her, it's only been like an hour since she's killed Caleb. Meanwhile, for Caleb, he's been dead for thousands of years. And of course, he was brought back and all that stuff. So yeah, the timelines are all weird for them. And we just have them doing more trials. I'm going to be skipping that because it's just them going through a bunch of trials. We have like a weird moment where Thomason, I guess, is a lesbian and she's flirting with BB, who flirts back with her. And I'm just like, do we really need to have this scene? Like, I don't care about the whole lesbian stuff. My favorite comic book character of all time is a lesbian, Cassie Hack from Hack Slash. It's just, one, it's weird that we happen to have only 2 female characters in this series and they happen to be gay. What are the chances of that? Especially when one of them is from the 1400s. how many lesbians were there from the 1400s? And not only how many lesbians were there, but how many open lesbians were there in the 1400s? Like, Thomason has no problem whatsoever openly flirting with another woman. And you would think, like, wait, you grew up in the 1400s. Like, that kind of stuff would get you killed. Like, you would kind of hide that. Like, even though thousands of years have changed, she doesn't know that. She doesn't know what the customs are now. Like, she still grew up in the 1400s. She still has that mindset. Also, like, what are the chances that the two lesbians would immediately hit it off? Like, it's just so many coincidences. You only have two female characters. They both happen to be gay. They both happen to find each other attractive and flirting with each other. Okay. Also, isn't BB in a relationship with the, I forgot her name, but the black cop in Dead Lucky? So would this be considered cheating if you're openly flirting with another woman immediately after you started dating another woman? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, there's like more trials. I'm skipping all that stuff. Pretty much this entire issue is just them doing trials to eventually get to the Holy Grail. And the very last trial, Thomason ends up sacrificing herself to save the day. And that's when Thomason reveals that she's Infernal Girl Red. Because she does the Infernal Ignite, she transforms, and she fights the big baddie, kills it, but at the cost of her life, she dies. That's when Caleb reveals, I was lying to you the entire time. That's not the Holy Grail. There's nothing holy here. If you think about it, everything we've done, we've been fighting demons. Everything in here has been demonic. That's because that thing is demonic as well. That Grail is actually holding a demonic presence. It's trapped inside there. The reason it forced us to do all these trials was because it needs a host. And it took on the name Holy Grail because people would think, oh, Holy Grail, it's got to be a good thing. We'll go get it, but it's not really a Holy Grail. It's just a lie. And the reasons it has all the trials is so that it can, the next host body would be like the perfect soldier. Like, it would have to be someone that would be worthy enough and strong enough to go through all the trials. So it doesn't want a weak body. And Caleb says, the only reason I lied to you and stuff, the only reason we went through all this was just because I wanted to make sure that the demonic thing was still locked away inside the Grail. You would think that if the demonic thing wasn't in the Grail, you would know by now because there'd be like some kind of giant demon going around causing chaos or something. It was just, I don't know, the whole thing was just basically a giant red herring. There is no Holy Grail. There is no saving or resurrecting the dead. We did all this just because I wanted to make sure that the thing was still in there. That was it. That's all. And they leave. And as they're leaving, Marshall takes Thomason's staff. Basically, Thomason gave it to Marshall right before she used her Infernal Girl Ignite powers. And I'm assuming maybe that's going to play off into Radiant Black. I fear that what they're going to do is they're going to give Nathan the powers of Radiant Black, and then they're going to have Marshall get some kind of powers from the staff. I'm hoping that's not the case. What I would love is for Marshall to get the powers and Nathan to just F off to LA and we never have to deal with him again because I just find him annoying. But obviously they're not going to do that. I still hope Marshall ends up winning and he ends up getting the powers. But I feel like basically the staff is just going to give them a roundabout way of having both of them have powers in some way. One of them will be Radiant Black. The other one will have some other kind of powers. But yeah, at the very, very end, we see that Thomason, after her death and after the rest of the Alliance like leave the area, her body gets teleported back to her time. And so she's laying dead on the ground with a smile on her face. And Medieval Spawn shows up. And he wraps her up in a cloak and basically says, come on, old friend, let us see to getting you to the warrior's funeral you deserve. And so Medieval Spawn rides off with Thomason, one of the previous Infernal Girl Red. So, yeah, the MassiveVerse and the Spawnverse share the same universe. I don't know how else to take that. So, that's interesting. I'm pretty much betting that this was just like a little like Easter egg cameo, kind of like, well, not an Easter egg, because an Easter egg you have to actually go hunt for those. This is just like a fun little cameo, like, you know, just a nod to like the readers, I guess. I have a feeling that Spawn isn't gonna play a part in the MassiveVerse in any other way, but it is funny to think about. If you think about it, then that means that while Dead Lucky is doing their thing, Rogue Sun's doing their thing, Radiant Black and other Radiants are doing their thing, Spawn and the Scourge are fighting demons and aliens and trying to keep the dead zones locked up. And there's like this huge like apocalyptic battle going on. Meanwhile, Marshall and Nathan are just kind of like, you know, messing around in Hollywood or working at a video store. Like, it's just, this is why I crossovers kind of don't work sometimes. Because then it's like, if this big event is really important, why aren't anyone else helping? Like, why isn't Spawn helping protect Earth from this alien menace? Why aren't the Radiants helping Spawn fight off these demons and angels and who want to like open up these gateways and allow chaos to reign? Like, it's just, I don't know. But yeah, in regards to the actual issue itself, I would say that I really enjoyed the artwork. I liked it a lot. They got a new artist. It wasn't anyone that's involved in any of the other MassiveVerse stuff. So it's not like the artist from the Radiant Black series or Dead Lucky or Rogue Sun or anything like that. I want to say that this artwork seems familiar. Has this artist worked for Udon? Because it really looks like the artwork that I've seen in like the Street Fighter and Darkstalkers comics. It has like that same style. It's like westernized. I don't want to say manga. There's like a small, teeny, tiny little hint of manga in there, but it's mostly like Western with just a tiny little smidge of manga. But yeah, it reminds me very much of like the Street Fighter and Darkstalkers comics. So I want to say that it's an artist that worked on Udon. Either way, it's awesome artwork. I really enjoy this artwork. Like, it's a style that I really enjoy. The story itself, I'm glad that there's like a lot of cool fight scenes and stuff, but other than that, it's kind of like a giant waste of time. It's basically, oh, we're going to try to get this grail. Oh, it was all a lie. We end up with nothing in the end. All they end up getting is a staff, which may or may not do something. That's it. So it was just kind of, I don't know. It felt like a series that doesn't really have that big of an impact on the universe in general. I guess we'll see. We'll see with the next Dead Lucky, Rogue Sun, and Radiant Black issues if this MassiveVerse had any kind of impact whatsoever. But it doesn't seem like it did. The characters end up the same that they started. Dylan still doesn't have his body back. BB is still working for Morrow. Nathan and Marshall are still having to share the powers. I guess they finally decide, like, hey, one of us has to use the powers, like, permanently. Like, we can't keep trading back and forth. But that was already kind of told to them in the last issue. So this was more like they knew that already, but they were denying it. But then they realized, okay, we can't deny it any further. So yeah, it just kind of felt like a big, I don't want to say a waste. That seems too negative. It felt like it was pointless, though. There's no need for this crossover other than just to like, hey, we have a crossover, yay. Other than that, it doesn't have any lasting impact. At least it doesn't feel like it has any lasting impact on any of the characters themselves. It's just kind of there. So if you're okay with that, then sure, go check it out. If not, like, if you want to like read issues where things matter, then I guess skip this. All you really need to know is that they all share the same timeline. Marshall now has a magic staff that may or may not do anything. And the Spawn universe is set within the same universe as the MassiveVerse. There you go. That's kind of it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.